FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Gather round. This is the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln.
You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Nathan Brennan.
Hey, Nate, do you think football started last night?
I'll be entirely honest with you, Buck. I watched, I'm trying to think, the second I went to bed. See, I leave my phone next to my bed, which I know I shouldn't do, but I'll be like on my phone, like screw around. The time that I actually spent watching the game, not on my phone, not closing my eyes, not turning the other way, 27 seconds.
Well,
so no, I sure, if we're really that desperate for football, which I think we all are, including myself. I'm actually very desperate for football, especially some Husker football.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still not there. I know you want me to say yes. I'm just not there yet. I can't do it. I can't bring myself
all
to say
kinds
it.
of space. 5. End zone. He was all alone, led his way in there. Jermaine Illuminor led the way, and for the first time here in 2022, the Raiders have a touchdown.
That's right. Amir Abdullah, former Husker.
That is fair. All right.
First touchdown of the football season's Amir Abdullah's, and you just want to take it away because you were tired?
Well. Again, if we're really that desperate for football and we're saying go Huskers, which I think we all are, sure, fine, why not?
Yeah,
absolutely. Football is back, damn it. Why not?
You can't say football's not back when Amir Abdullah already has a touchdown. He's one of the most beloved former Huskers in the NFL.
For what it's worth, technically, that touchdown doesn't count.
Why is that?
Like, if you look at their statistics over a career, like preseason games don't count. In
preseason stats.
Do they have that? Can you find that?
Maybe.
Can you? I don't think
that's gotta be somewhere.
I don't think that's attainable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can go right now and look up player preseason stats. Maybe I'm wrong.
I
don't know.
that there'd be like a database for this sort of stuff, but it is kind of hard to find some of this stuff too. Like even on like NFL.com, if you want to find,
I don't think
like,
it's attainable.
Tackles, the Raiders tackling stats from like 1982. I don't think it's on there. Like I was looking the other day, it only goes so far back.
Well, were they recording tackles then?
Yeah.
Because in the 80s, there were some things they didn't. Maybe it was tackles.
I think
for
they
loss.
did. They just like had it in a book and they never typed it over or something. I'm not sure why not.
Need to get on the guy that thought that was a good idea.
But yeah,
people want this.
Sacks were rather new in the 80s, as well as the 3-point line.
That's
obviously cross sports, but that's
the 3-point line. Someone told me, and I don't know if there's much truth to this. 402-464-5685. I feel like that's a few things that I've said today that I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to hope that our listeners can help me out if I'm right or wrong. Wasn't Nebraska the last state to incorporate the 3-point line?
Oh, yeah, for high school hoops?
I think they were the last state. Again, that could be entirely inaccurate.
That sounds about right for Nebraska.
So don't take that for what it's worth. I can't remember. Someone told me that, and I want to say that they were credible, but if they were friends with me, maybe not.
I can't imagine
50-50 shot
being like, obviously in the modern day age of three-pointers, it's hard to even like fathom basketball without it. At least for, a younger demographic that didn't live through that
range.
But I bet that was like a big deal back in the day. It was like, you're changing basketball. The basketball purist was like, there's no 3-point shot. You can't score more than 2 with a shot.
Because they probably thought, well, one, respect the mid game. I'm all about the mid-range shot. That's why TJ Warren was my favorite player until he decided he was going to sit out like 2.5 years. He's bubble MVP.
Bubble TJ Warren was on fire. Yeah.
TJ Warren was one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. Love the mid-range. But I think they thought it was a slippery slope, which I have heard rumblings that they're thinking about a 4-point shot. It's already in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll put up with a lot of stuff when it comes to the NBA. I'll watch the playoffs, regular season. If the Pacers are good, maybe I'll watch. I wish Nebraska had a team because I would be, if it was like, I don't know, the Omaha Storm or something.
They did have the Omaha Kings way back in the day. But
was that like a G League team?
No, it was the Omaha Kansas City Kings. Okay, so
what do you mean Omaha Kansas
I'm
City?
serious.
What does that even mean?
The Omaha Kansas City Kings means they played supposedly half their games in each spot, but in reality it was like most of their games in Kansas City, a few games in Omaha. But
I'd take that.
it was. I mean, that was a deal.
They
back
should do
then.
that with the Thunder.
Yeah.
Give Omaha they play the CHI Center. Give them 5 games a year. You would sell out every game.
Yeah.
Why not? Well,
Have
Oklahoma
somewhat
City
of a traveling team.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, the Omaha Thunder. We're going with that. If there was an Omaha Thunder, I'd be fans of them.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a Pacers fan, and so I don't really watch the NBA. Basically, I'm going all the way around to my main point. If there was a 4-point line, I'd stop watching. That would probably do it in for me.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I'd still watch. I don't feel like that is going to benefit the game because I don't want to see young kids shooting. I mean,
you already have that.
You already have that, but I mean, practicing 4-point shots and maybe, I don't know. It also just like completely changes the game. You know, you're up by 8. You shouldn't just have some guy chucking up shots and getting you back in the game in 2
We
possessions.
probably sound like old men because I bet you sports talk radio in 1978 was like, this damn 3-point shot's going to ruin the game. Well, I think that actually would ruin the game. Also, Micah says going to be the last state without a shot clock too.
Yeah.
I didn't know Nebraska high school doesn't have a shot clock.
It's 2022 and they're just getting around to it. I think they're starting the funding or whatever. It's the movement is finally worked to try to get a shot clock in. But that is criminal, isn't it? I mean, I know that part of it's the cost of getting and all that, but that changes fundamentally what basketball
absolutely,
is without a shot clock.
Class A will have shot clock this coming season.
All right. Well, we're stepping into the
the
new era of high school basketball for Nebraska. Yeah. If you want respect for your recruits and stuff, at least have them play a modern day sport. You know, you can't just have completely.
That's honestly so bizarre that they don't have a shot clock. Because I'm like, if you wanted to, you could technically dribble out the entire quarter.
Yeah. And that's like, again,
what is that?
It's I feel bad for the defense. Like that's part of the whole idea of defending and defending well is they're going to run out of time. They're going to have to put something up. If they never have to put something up, then I don't know. I just think that that's absolutely silly. And then the idea that shot clocks are like expensive or something. It's like, just get a guy that with a bell or something, like
ring.
Yeah. Just actually starting to count down 10, 9.
They could have that guy or like the OG when you played rec basketball when you were in elementary, middle school. They had the little ribbon that you turned every time someone scored a point. Do you remember that?
Yeah, those are cool.
Those were, I think it was when I played upward basketball. Then you move into rec league and they had the little ribbon. You just pull on over. That was awesome.
Those scoring tables are never very official. They're not very good.
I remember it was college intramurals was the worst because half of the referees would show up drunk and it's like, oh great. Like, who knows what the score is going to be? Who knows if the clock's going to be stopped?
And it's always like somebody's girlfriend because you're supposed to bring 6 guys, you only bring 5, and then like she's never done this and she doesn't care.
No. That's intramural sports for you. Yeah. Dusty says what they call it the 4-point shot or a Steph Curry. I like that, Dusty. Steph Curry is what caused this.
Yeah. Well, like I've always said, this is it's somewhat new that this is actually being pushed and might actually happen in our lifetimes. Let's hope not, but it might.
I hope not.
But I always go back to Antoine Walker. That's why when he was with Boston, he was asked, why are you shooting so many 3-point shots? Because he wasn't making them that night. He said, there's not a 4-point line.
Didn't Strick play with Antoine Walker?
He did. Yeah. He's got some nicknames for him. That was Strick. Strick played and helped the Celtics get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's right.
Was awesome.
That's right. That's why he's your boy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't know him by then. I was like 11, but it was still pretty cool. And of course, Strick will be joining us later here on the block. That is interesting, though, that you brought up too. Is if Nebraska did get, Omaha did get an MLB team, NFL team, NBA team, would you change who you cheer for? I mean, if you've been. Like for me, can I just not be a Celtics fan anymore? I don't think so. I've been a Celtics fan my whole life.
I think if push came to shove and someone called you like a fraud or a fake fan or something like that, I think you'd probably be like, all right, time to change. Because that's the thing is like if Omaha somehow got like an NHL team, you would probably have to jump.
Have an NHL team.
Okay, but NBA. If they got an NBA, you would have to jump, Bach. You wouldn't have a choice. You're from Nebraska.
I don't know though.
That would be drawing the
your
line.
Allegiances.
You have
at this
point.
point. You never. That's a rule of fandom.
Well, think about that. So the Thunder What were Thunder fans before they came to Oklahoma City? You're telling me those people didn't turn into Thunder fans?
I'm sure
If it actually happened, I think you would. It's just because it's hypothetical and we know it wouldn't happen. But if it did,
I don't know.
If it did,
you would change your allegiance. Who's your biggest pro team allegiance?
Like out of all the pro sports,
Yeah.
the Colts.
Yeah. If somebody moved, if Blacksburg got a team, you just abandon the Colts?
It's interesting because no, I probably wouldn't abandon them. I'd root for both. But there was a time when Sacramento was thinking about leaving Sacramento, obviously. The Kings were thinking about Virginia Beach was at the top of their list. And at the time, I was like, okay, I'll still be a Pacers fan, but I'm actually absolutely going to be a Virginia Beach Kings fan. That's awesome.
It is. You'd definitely be a fan. I mean, you would get into it. But like, trust me, over the years as an NFL an Arizona Cardinals fan, I've thought, you know, it'd be great if I chose to cheer for somebody that wins or gets to the playoffs once in a while.
You don't want to be that guy.
Well, you don't.
No, you don't want to be the Patriots
but I'm saying
fan. Sorry, Rico.
Yeah, Rico is the worst of all of us. The
it's
Yankees
awful.
Patriots fan. I mean,
That's just terrible.
yeah, I mean, he's going to defend himself.
I've explained it to you. I chose these teams because my grandfather hated them.
Well, that's a good reason, but at the same time, you know why your grandfather hates them? Because everybody hates them.
Because he was a Mets fan and a Giants fan.
Well, there's partially that. Also because they win a lot, and everybody hates the
So
win.
he hated the Yankees and he hated the Patriots, and I was like, I'm going to root against you.
Yankees fans,
Then he was a Spurs fan, but I was just like,
the Spurs would be a cool
I'm
team
gonna
to root for because you can't really be a bandwagon Spurs.
I like
You
low.
could
I like
in the early
guess.
2000s.
I like low key root for the Spurs, but I'm a Knicks fan. So,
Yeah,
but it's like low key. Like
That's just terrible too.
why they suck?
That is fair enough. They do suck.
Hey, at least I'm East Coast, right?
That is true. Fair enough.
yeah. You got to stick to a region.
New
sometimes,
York
I
and
think.
Boston is kind of
Yeah,
sacrilege.
that one doesn't
But
make
look,
sense.
I'm not switching my baseball team and my basketball team to Boston, and I'm definitely not switching my football team to New York.
The
So
weird thing about being a
Like,
Boston
too
fan,
far
because
now.
I am a Celtics Red Sox fan, I didn't jump on with the Patriots. But the weird thing about that
Thank
is
God.
not necessarily having pride in the fan base, because they're a bunch of
they're terrible.
they're awful people.
Literally terrible people.
Yeah.
They are the worst.
So it's weird to be like, I'm definitely among the best of that fan base.
That is the
But
one
I am.
benefit that I do have is that my allegiance to the Colts and Pacers, because my family grew up in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Like born and raised, didn't move until they had kids. So it's like, okay, I have an actual reason. I feel like it's tough for Nebraska fans, or I guess just Nebraska sports fans, because there isn't really a team to root for in basically any sport, unless maybe the Royals.
No.
Because one, you have the Storm Chasers, who are the Royals affiliate. Also,
Yeah.
Kansas City's 3.5 hours
It's
away.
the closest. But
That the Royals make sense. The Chiefs one, okay, I guess I get, and they haven't been very good. But now it's kind of frustrating. It's like, oh, you like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, like real unique, you know?
well, yeah,
They're kind of falling in that
it's-
that Patriots
like
category.
in Nebraska in general, it's just divided. It's interesting. A lot of NFC North fans, a lot of Broncos fans.
Right.
We're gonna have them on the station again. So we're big Broncos fans.
We are big Broncos. I actually am. They had Peyton Manning.
Yeah, they
I'm
did.
a big Broncos
Now they
guy.
have Russell Wilson.
Corey and Lincoln says you would have to jump ship, no choice, especially if the origin of your fandom for other teams is relatively arbitrary or random. That's a good point. If you just pick the team as a kid, that's sort of a lame reason to be a fan in the first place. Corey and Lincoln kind of have a point.
But kind of what I was saying though too, like I've somewhat actively tried to jump the Arizona Cardinals fan base at times, because there's years where they're just like 3-13 and like I'm gonna watch other games. I'm sorry, I don't care really what
Yeah.
happens with this team. They're
The Colts fall in that category.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. But I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. Like I can't just like all of a sudden be a
'Cause
huge Steelers fan. I still cheer for the
No,
Cardinals.
but
in my
also
heart, I can't switch.
the Cardinals are one of those teams that it comes in waves. So like the Cardinals are kind of the worst kind of team because you hang on and you hang on and you hang on. Then they get really good and then you get really excited and they obviously flame out and lose. That's just what teams like that do.
yeah.
And then they're just terrible. It's like, okay, I'm actually going to do it. And then they'll draft like Kyler Murray. It's like, okay, maybe there's a reason to hang around a little bit. Unfortunately, if you're a Lions fan, I've done this.
Oh my god.
And whenever the Lions get brought up, I genuinely apologize to Lions fans. out of all franchises in professional sports, I can't imagine being a Lions fan.
Although
my God.
they had Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, which again,
and made them retire early because they were so bad of a franchise.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, there's worse eras to go through than that, watching one of the best wide receivers and one of the best running backs of all time. I know it's frustrating that they didn't do anything ultimately with him, but
they literally retired. Imagine your franchise being so bad that the best players to ever play for the franchise retired, decided they would rather not play football at all than play for the franchise. And then your third best player in franchise history, again, I know there's more extended Detroit Lions history, but post Barry Sanders is all I really know. Your third player that comes to mind is Matt Stafford, who the year after he leaves wins a Super Bowl.
Does a silly commercial about you the next year.
I just can't remember. Like I genuinely, if you are on our text line 402-464-5685, my heart goes out to you if you're a Lions fan. Genuinely goes out to you because that must just hurt.
Now, what we're talking about, too, is a scenario where maybe a pro team moves to Omaha. Would you switch your allegiance to whatever it is, NFL, NBA, whatever your favorite pro team is? Say a team gets moved to Omaha. Somebody out the text line says that scenario would create a whole new level of J-Screws. And yeah, I mean, that's another thing about it, too, is there is a little bit of a sibling rivalry, I suppose you could call it, between Lincoln and Omaha. Some people just don't like Omaha just because Creighton's there. And I'm serious. Like, that's there's so nowhere else to go besides Omaha from Lincoln as far as, a 1 hour drive or anything within 3 hours, like we're saying with Kansas City. But still, they just hate Omaha because Creighton's there. I used to be one of these people. I did until I went to Omaha and was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
That is kind of funny because when I first came here, I was like, wait a minute, Creighton's in Nebraska. Like, even if Nebraska's not very good, like root for Creighton basketball, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got here and it was like, no, you don't root for Creighton.
You don't do that. No.
And I didn't know there's that much of a rivalry. They don't even have a football team.
No, they did back in the day when we were covering the early 1900s. Nebraska beat them pretty bad.
Nice.
Take that, Creighton.
Take that, Creighton. Corey and Lincoln, my mom's from Detroit, and I have a ton of family still there, and I still never allow myself to be a Lions fan. Corey, that's honestly good for you because I had my boss at – this is the weirdest thing ever, too, is in ESPN Blacksburg when I worked there during school at Virginia Tech, my boss was from Detroit and grew up there, was from Michigan. He got tired of the snow, so he just like, all right, I'll find a warm weather place and just plan it on a map and applied for radio jobs and ended up in Blacksburg, Virginia. But diehard Lions fan, and that's where I first started to realize how sad it is. He's just miserable. He's like, all right, here we go. I hope we win 3 games this year. And he's like, even if we make the playoffs, we'll lose. I've never in my lifetime, I don't know, I'm 42 years old. He's like, I haven't even seen a playoff win.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is genuinely sad. Like, it makes your heart hurt.
Your peak Lions moment was some regular season win. Then that's just,
literally,
that's
he's
tough.
never seen a playoff win. I'm like, that hurts. That digs deep. And I'm sorry because as someone that takes their sports way more seriously than I should, I feel for you.
Yeah,
I do.
It's weird too because when you get to the college level, obviously in the NFL or in a professional sports league, it's supposed to be balanced. You're supposed to be able, unless you have terrible management, which certainly you could say the Lions did, ownership, all that stuff. It's supposed to balance out eventually. It is kind of weird as a fan, and maybe Nebraska basketball fits in this category to a degree, but there's just a curse on Nebraska basketball. It's not like they don't have facilities or they don't have they don't have enough money.
I think it is.
There's some sort of ceiling on Nebraska. There really shouldn't be. It's just the curse. But there, the other part of it is like in football, it's weird just to relate because when I went to an Iowa State football game and they're playing Texas, it wasn't like, Nebraska, everybody kind of knows Texas can recruit better and get all the Texas athletes and like that. So it's always,
Texas.
It's always going to be difficult.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
But at Nebraska, there was never the idea that's like, just like, yeah, Texas is better this year. We'll see what happens. There's always like Nebraska's going to fight up and maybe they've got the better players because they develop and all this stuff better. When I went to Iowa State and Texas, just listening to the fans around me is just like, yeah, we'll never have the players Texas does. We'll just see, So it's just kind of like
really
sad. Like there's a ceiling on Iowa State football that you're just not going to have the access to the players that Texas is. And again, it might be because they're similar to Nebraska basketball in that they've just never achieved any level of success above 9 or 10 wins.
Well, that's what hurts so much is that Nebraska basketball, now that I think about it, that's a good theory, Bach, that there probably is a curse what caused it and who would be the sacrificial lamb. We've talked about this. Lil Red is probably at the top of the list.
Yes.
But I know you defend Nick defends Lil Red.
I think we sacrifice Lil Red. see
Someone
if it
needs-
helps.
Someone needs to be sacrificed at this point. Gus, Nathan, screw this sports talk. Now you're talking my language, Gus. The real question is, did your license ever show up? Yes, Gus. I am officially a Nebraska Cornhusker. I reside in the state of Nebraska. Nathan B1011, by the way, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I posted the picture of it too, and I said officially Nebraskan, so that was pretty exciting. So yes, Gus, my license did show up, and I was not going to lie, I was starting to get pretty stressed about that. So that for whatever it's worth. Texter says, how would UNL get people to buy tickets to their terrible sports if we have other teams to keep us occupied?
Nice. Good
Well,
singer.
Fair enough.
That's
Aaron,
true.
hey guys, I'm a Cleveland Guardians / Indians fan over the years. Every time we have been good and made to the World Series or far in the playoffs, we dismantle our team. It gets really frustrating, always knowing that you can get so close and never get over the hump. Aaron, that's what I feel worst for you is if you're a diehard baseball fan, and I kind of go in waves. Like I'll be honest, like I can be kind of a fair weather baseball fan. I'm a big Cubs fan, was super excited when they won the World Series, been a Cubs fan my whole life. But if the Cubs suck, like,
Just check out.
I mean, it's 162 games. I'll watch a game if it's on ESPN or something like that. I won't buy the MLB pass and all this. If you're a diehard baseball fan and like Aaron, you're like a small market team, I feel for you because there's literally these other sports. They're just poorly like the Lions have technically other than being in Detroit, which that kind of hurts you because no athletes really want to go to Detroit. It's not really a destination. You have all the resources and the same money as every other team in the NFL. Like you are just a terribly run organization.
Right.
Look at the Bengals. They're the least valuable franchise in football. Went to the Super Bowl for crying out loud. MLB, you're screwed. Like there's literally nothing you can do.
I mean, you just have a window.
You have a window of your rookie contracts. Maybe you pay a guy or two.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you're screwed. Like there's literally nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, just like being around Kansas City. Again, I'm a Red Sox fan more than a Royals fan. But when, just being around Kansas City and growing up around it's just weird. It was like when Johnny Damon was good, like you kind of cheer for him as he leaves. You're like, well, I hope that the former Royals like Jermaine died. Like, that's
Jermaine died.
Yeah,
Nice.
like that's a former Royal, yes. But like he left for more money. I mean,
but that's just what happened. The Royals are a perfect example because they
cashed in
they won the World Series. It all timed up perfectly. You didn't pay anybody except for I think Salvador Perez because he's still on the team. Alex Gordon, nice Husker. Yep. But then like it gets dismantled. You're essentially the worst team in baseball 2 years later. Yeah. It hurts, and I feel bad for small market fans, especially if you're like a diehard baseball fan. Because there's just no way out. Like the Guardians, for what it's worth, they're building something. It looks like they're a decent baseball team, but like he says, even if you get to the top and if it doesn't pan out, you don't win a World Series, you're screwed. Everyone's sold. Everyone's gone at the deadline. Texter says, interesting theory. Nebraska needs to turn the horseshoe upside down so the luck can fall out because of the 90s. It was overflowing, and now all the luck is stuck inside. So we need to flip it over so luck can come out and we can get back to winning. All right, Texter.
The horseshoe. I like it. Yeah. And that's something more, maybe less violent.
I didn't
than
think
sacrificing Little Red.
like Little Red, you're done. All right. I kind of like that one, Texter. Tater says, are you an actual Huskers fan, Nate? What brought you here? Tater, I always have a good reply to that. So what brought me here was the job. Had never been to Nebraska before. Never even stepped foot in the state. You come here, you get involved in the community. You can't really help but being a Nebraska fan. But then now I started dating a girl. My girlfriend played softball at Nebraska, so I literally don't have a choice. Her dad would kill me. So like it's one of those because they're from Nebraska, and it's basically you're a Nebraska fan. You don't have any choice otherwise. Which is why I love the state. Why it's so great. You come into our state, you're a Nebraska fan. Damn it. You don't like it, you're gone. That's how it should be.
We're glad that you're a Nebraska fan now, but part of it is a bit of a learning process, though, and I'm going to teach you
I know
a little
you
bit
are.
more
All right.
here in the next segment. Why every time I say this or that about Wisconsin or Iowa, you're always talking trash on Graham Mertz or Spencer Petras. I'll show you why that quarterback position matters very little in these losing streaks of those teams. So we'll talk about that coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
My computer was a dinosaur, and our TV, well, let's just say it was definitely time for an upgrade. But finding a way wasn't so simple. And then I found it. A research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. I earned cash for the study and was able to make those much-needed upgrades. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate. Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You look at those big tackles they have mammoth tackles. Neither of those guys are particularly nimble. Bryce Benhart is never going to be confused with Allen Iverson.
No, I don't think that he will. That's the first time in history and forever going forward that Allen Iverson will be in the same sentence as Bryce Benhart.
They better be able to mash.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting. People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Time for a new air conditioner? Bryant offers some of the most efficient available, up to 26 SEER. Call 467-1111 to schedule your free estimate or visit BryantLincoln.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Thanks for joining us here, and congratulations. You've made it to Friday, and we've made it to Friday as well. Friday. Nate actually is going to be out next week, so it's kind of sad. It'll be the last time we get to take a water cooler together here for a minute, but that's all right. We still got plenty.
You going to miss me?
To a degree, but I mean, I've got to get my Wisconsin-Iowa argument out with you today. I mean, I can't wait till next week now.
Is that right?
That's right, because
you make me mad, Bach. I'll never do a show with you again, I swear. Don't test me.
Oh, I'm testing you. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this whole thing. Let's get to the text line, though. First, we're talking about Nebraska just even have some sort of bad curse over them. Big Frank says maybe it's because they need to bring back the original Herbie. Everything went downhill when we went to rhinestone cowboy hat Herbie. Yeah, I like the modern Herbie. Blonde Herbie was pretty cool. I think it's about due for a change, though. He looks really early 2000s. I was like, yeah, definitely wear some nice blue jeans. And
early 2000s was a good time, though. Bud.
It was, but not even necessarily for Nebraska football.
I just like him because he has the big hat, and then you can buy it in the gift shop.
Yeah. I like the fact that he can take off the hat, and he's still smiling at you.
I do. I like the hat because I had a friend that visited last year for the Northwestern game, which is, by the way, why I need to guarantee a win against Illinois while I'm at it, because I have friends coming for that game, too. And he bought a Nebraska hat, and whenever he goes on vacation, he brings it. He wears it around.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Cool Hand Luke says the bad luck started in 2012 when Fairbury brand hot dogs were sold to Land O'Lakes. They are now made in Illinois. # bring back the dogs. That's that could be it too. I mean, 2012, that Wisconsin championship game. I mean, that could be the turning point. Those red hot dogs, though, man, those are a thing of glory. I don't care.
Were they pretty good?
Really. Oh, I love them. Yeah.
I don't know if I've tried them.
You ever had a red hot dog?
I don't know. Maybe
you gotta get one at the games. Any Husker game.
That's where I've had a Runza.
Runza, yeah.
I think I had Valentino's there one time.
I would assume so. Well, you only get 3 choices. It's the red hot dog, Valentino, or Runza.
See, this is why I will say Nebraska. The Runza, I guess, is your own thing, but at Virginia Tech games we get turkey legs.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own thing, which is cool.
Because then when you see like people that throw up like the VT, like number 1, it's like they got like a turkey leg.
That's gonna be awful to clean up, though. There's just
gobble,
bones everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I only got my well, it's kind of sad because I've gotten one turkey leg at a game before, and I thought like, okay, the next one I get will be my last football game I ever go to. Senior year was canceled because of COVID, so I didn't get that last turkey leg. But I'll get it against Miami this year.
There you go. That's
gonna be another
awesome,
turkey leg.
Awesome game for you to go to. Virginia Tech, Miami, one of my favorite Big East rivalries back in the day.
Good throwback.
But that'll be the same week as Nebraska and Purdue. So you're going to be missing AOC against Casey Thompson, maybe over 800 yards passing.
That's why I'm hoping the big noon game is Nebraska Purdue. So then I can convince some of my friends to go to a bar. It's like, guys, we really got to go to this game, or vice versa. So one game is like alternate. So we can maybe go to the Virginia Tech game, go to a bar later, or that game, and then Virginia Tech Miami's prime time, which I think it might be simply because they're getting rid of the Coastal. So this is the last time they'll play for 3 years. Which is so ridiculous that Virginia Tech's matchup isn't Miami. I know you guys don't care and you don't care about the ACC, but there's Big East hatred that goes into that.
Yeah.
For them to get rid of that game is people were mad at the ACC too. Like that's you don't get rid of Virginia Tech Miami. That's just bad. Bad optics.
Who are your protected rivals again? Virginia.
It's Virginia, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And
Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah. That sounds pretty rough, but you know, it depends.
At least we
on
don't lose UVA.
Yeah.
If they took away UVA in Miami, there'd be a riot.
Well, if Nebraska goes to that system, a lot of people are calling for Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, and that'd be kind of difficult. By the way, I tweeted this out last night. This is the second straight year Nebraska's finishing with Wisconsin and Iowa. And I know you can make your jokes about them having a ceiling or whatever, but
which they do.
My joke was like, why don't we just have a bucket of rocks and chuck it at the Huskers after that Iowa game? Because that's what it's like playing Wisconsin and Iowa in back-to-back weeks. Thank God you get rest for bowl season, but I don't know if that's ever going to set you up well going into the Big Ten championship game if you make it. So I'm not complaining too much. There's obviously other scheduling issues, but That's pretty tough. But in any case, when we talk about Wisconsin and Iowa and even Minnesota now, because I'll throw them in there, because Nebraska's got losing streaks against all three of them. 8-game losing streak now to Wisconsin, 7-game losing streak to Iowa, and a 3-game losing streak to Minnesota. And when I bring up the fact that, I think until they beat Wisconsin or Iowa especially, I'm not going to favor them. I'm not going to give Nebraska the edge. It's 8 games. It's 7 games.
Trust the FBI.
Yeah, you want to trust the FBI, and you
Trust the
also
FBI.
try to crap on Graham Mertz and Spencer Petras because they're not very good quarterbacks.
They're not good.
Well, go ahead and guess. I've compiled the numbers here. In the 7-game losing streak to Iowa, quarterback play doesn't matter all that much in any of these games.
How many years are going back?
This is all the way back to 2015 now.
Okay.
7 straight years to Iowa. Guess how many yards per game they averaged through the air in those 7 games.
Is it over 100?
It's over 100.
Is it over? That's what I was worried about first. I'll say 120.
It's more than that. It's 150. But 150
My
yards
God.
is all Iowa's averaged in the 7 games beating Nebraska. That includes a 97-yard game from C.J. Beathard in 2015.
Who's now the backup for someone that played he's backup for the Jags.
He's a
I'm
legit
pretty
NFL
sure.
quarterback.
He is.
99-yard game from Nate Stanley in 2019.
Nate Stanley also in the NFL.
Yeah.
So out of all this, they still got NFL quarterbacks. Good for them, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's one thing about Iowa. It'd be nice to have C.J. Beathard or Nate Stanley back. How about Wisconsin? Through their 8-game winning streak, this includes the names like Kurt Phillips, Joel Stavey, Alex
Hornibrook, that's my boy.
Jack Cohn, and Graham Mertz. How much do you think they've averaged over their 8-game streak against Nebraska?
128.
It is 136.
Oh, my God.
That's all it takes to beat Nebraska.
But what are their rushing numbers is the question.
Well, the rushing numbers are crazy, but
Right.
included in those 8 games, you've got a Kurt Phillips 71-yard passing game. You have a Joel Stavey 46-yard passing game. You have Alex Hornibrook 71-yard passing game. Another 113 yards from Hornibrook. You throw in Minnesota in there, and they've got a 3-game losing streak, all to Tanner Morgan, by the way, and to Minnesota.
Who's still somehow playing this year.
Yeah, who's playing again. Of those 18 games, which would be the 8-game losing streak to Wisconsin, 7-game losing streak to Iowa, and 3-game losing streak to Minnesota, throughout all those games, 18, that's a lot. They've averaged 143 yards passing against Nebraska in those games. 1/3 of the losses to Iowa and Wisconsin with just those teams. That's 15. But 5 of those games, the quarterback didn't even throw for 100 yards. So you could tell me that Spencer Petras is bad and Graham Mertz are bad, and I'm not going to argue too much against it.
As you shouldn't.
That doesn't mean anything
Against
necessarily
Nebraska.
in these Minnesota-Iowa
Against
Wisconsin
Nebraska.
games.
I think this is somewhat unfair to Nebraska because outside of last year, they haven't had a very good team in a while. Other than last year, Frost teams weren't very good. Last year, Mike Riley was an absolute dumpster fire. We don't need to go back to that. But let's not act like they're doing this against Michigan or Ohio State for crying out loud. Let's see their record against those teams.
I'm not talking about those teams. I'm talking about Nebraska. I'm talking about when you want to predict Wisconsin to lose to Nebraska, and they routinely average, their running back always has more than 200 yards rushing against Nebraska outside of Agumba Wale a few years.
Who's actually pretty good.
It's not bad. And he still had like 120 yards in those games. It doesn't matter too much that Graham Mertz and Spencer Petras aren't very good going into those games late in the season. That's not how Wisconsin and Iowa beat you. And they've beaten you over and over and over and over and over again.
And
you keep going.
And you know what's most interesting about this, Bach? What really does me in? Okay, you beat Nebraska when they haven't made a bowl game in 5 years. Congratulations. A lot of people beat Nebraska the past 5 seasons. Good for you. They're just as close to making the college football playoff as
They
Nebraska.
are not. What is
Yes,
that argument?
they are, because when
Iowa
push
was
comes to shove,
legitimately in the playoff. Like they were number 2 last year.
don't even get me started on
that's
that graphic.
closer
I'm
than-
not going over that graphic about you. I'm going to
I'm
hit
not-
somebody. If I was in another playoff graphic, I'm going to lose it.
I'm not talking about opinion. I'm talking about ranking. I'm talking about facts, which is that Iowa and Wisconsin have been way closer.
You want a fact?
Several times.
You want a fact?
Yeah.
What was the score? How much did Iowa lose to Michigan by?
I think 39.
39. 49. 39.
Yeah.
How much did Nebraska lose to Michigan? 3. And guess which team was in the college football playoff? Michigan.
Michigan
Nebraska,
got shellacked
I don't
anyway.
care what your record is. I don't care how many playoff graphics you're put in. There's a ceiling at schools like Iowa and Wisconsin. There always has been and there always will be.
Iowa was one game away. I think 2015, maybe 2014.
And how'd that work out?
They were in the Big Ten championship game. They got stoned at the goal line, I think our Michigan State was stoned. I don't know. It was a goal line play. But in any case, Iowa was 1 inch away, basically, from the playoffs. I'm not kidding. That's a fact. It's not some sort of opinion.
I'll tell you right now, no matter where we are, no matter where we are, what's happening in our lives, if Iowa or Wisconsin ever makes the college football playoff, I'll buy you a beer. I'll Venmo you. I'll Cash App you. I don't care. No matter where you are, you send me a text, you give me a call, and I'll buy you 3 beers.
All right.
Or what is that? The Stone Cold Steve Austin? 4 beers, 5 beers. However, you know what? You and your family, you go for a nice dinner. You go to Outback, you go to Applebee's. No, take that back. Chili's. You take your
Chili's,
son
okay,
and your
yeah.
wife to Chili's. I'll pay for everybody's meal, everybody's drinks, because your son will probably be in college by the time that happens, if that ever happens. So I'll buy him
Well, if
some
they
drinks
expand
too.
the playoff, Wisconsin's getting in almost, every other year, I'd assume.
I don't know about that. Okay, maybe there should be a caveat to that then. If it's over 8 teams, if it's 8 teams, they still won't get in. There's a ceiling to these schools. Dinner's on me. Tell your wife.
Well, Graham Mertz and Spencer Petras are there. They're probably a ceiling to them. And if they can get some better quarterback play,
They won't enter the transfer
I could see
portal.
it.
They're
I
not going to
know.
get a recruit out of high school.
Hey,
you never will. They won't enter the transfer
Wisconsin
portal.
was this close to getting Caleb Williams. How cool would have that been? That would have been fun if he went to Wisconsin.
They did get Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they did get Russell Wilson at one point in time. Corey in Lincoln says, box love for Iowa makes me sick. I don't love Iowa. I love their brand of play.
We are better than that, Corey. You're right. We're better than that.
What does that mean?
We don't need to play like that because we've been
do
to
need to
national
play like
championships. We have a better shot of making the playoff now. We do.
Nebraska went away from the blueprint. Everybody else in the Midwest
5.
took him.
I'll take 5 Nebraska quarterbacks over Graham Mertz or Spencer Petras. 5 of them. I'll name them after the break.
All right. Well, take a quick break on the Ticket Water Cooler. We'll be back here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake Bachman here. Before you get back to the golf course, let me tell you about my friends at Solarion. I've been working with them for many years, and they've been a great place to work with, helping develop new pharmaceutical products. All I do is check the website for possible studies that might apply to me, see if they fit into my schedule, and if I'm eligible for participation within the parameters laid out, I can make up to $500 per day in a study and feel confident in the staff and research done by Solarion to be a willing participant. I was one of 800 participants at Solarion in Lincoln last year and will continue to be. If you're curious about how you can earn up to $500 per day by participating in a research study at Solarion and with several options for scheduling, check them out at helpresearch.com/new or call them at 866-213-2965. Again, that's Solarion at 866-213-2965 or at helpresearch.com/new.
Time for a new air conditioner? Bryant offers some of the most efficient available, up to 26 SEER. Call 467-1111 to schedule your free estimate or visit BryantLincoln.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Old School with DP and J.
Us as past players are tired of the expectations being down and no pressure. It has to be the exact opposite. Last time I talked to one of the players on the team, and he's like, I want to prove everybody wrong. I was like, no, you need to prove yourself and everybody that believes in you right. You're here. And so now you need to prove everybody right, including yourself, by embracing and setting the expectations to the standard that you need to live by every day.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning in to Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You look at those big tackles they have. They have mammoth tackles. Neither of those guys are particularly nimble. Bryce Benhart is never going to be confused with Allen Iverson.
No, I don't think that he will. That's the first time in history and forever going forward that Allen Iverson be in the same sentence as Bryce Benhart.
They better be able to mash.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Once again, welcome into the Ticket Water Cooler and celebrate because it is Friday. So that means it is the weekend. So congratulations, everybody. You've made it to the weekend.
Ooh.
And football just started.
This hits different. Football on a Friday. Friday, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's hitting a little
you're
different.
You're on vacation after
I am.
this.
I got my
Probably-
vacation. If you check out the Starter Heyman video stream, I got my vacation shirt on.
Yeah, your vacation shirt, I couldn't tell if they were. It's like I think it's pineapples now that I really look close to it. But I thought it might be crabs or like a loaf of bread.
See, that's why it's perfect because it was $2 at Goodwill.
Nice.
And it's obviously time for vacation. You wear a vacation shirt.
Yeah. That's a good deal.
The time is now.
We will see. There's lots to talk about Husker football, and we'll have to play some of the bites from Scott Frost at the podium from earlier today. We'll do that on the block with Strick when he joined us here in just 10 minutes or whatever. But not a lot of talk going into this year about that Georgia Southern game. Now, I think they offered just the other day $30 tickets to that game, or was that the North Dakota game? I think
That was North Dakota, I'm pretty sure.
But have no fear. I'm sure $30 tickets are headed for the Georgia Southern game as well. But there's not a lot of talk about that. But what if I told you Clay Helton is up to something? Clay Helton is now yelling math problems at his receivers in drills while they're trying to make catches. Here's why Clay Helton is doing such.
Yeah, I've always believed in making it hard during practice and showing adversity, whether it's physical adversity and when they're doing their routes on air, beating them with a bag where it's catch bang, or making them have to think of something else while they're tracking the ball in the air, giving them adverse situations so when they get into the game, it becomes easy and it becomes routine.
What do you think about Clay Helton's strategy to throw math problems at you right when you're trying to make a catch?
I think that's a little too much. That might be. Listen, I understand. Well, actually, no, I don't
really understand what he's doing now.
Maybe distracting, trying to put yourself in a game situation, make it more difficult, obviously, than it's supposed to be. I get all that, but a math problem? What?
Are they just like? Are they going up for a pass and then like before they land, they just have you like what? 8 times 5, 40.
Yeah, do you have to say it?
Yeah,
Pythagorean theorem.
As many numbers as pi. Right now, go. I can only get 3.
I mean, it is distracting. 3.1415. I can do 4.
Oh, there you go.
Boom.
Nice.
To the thousandth decimal spot.
We won't check that. Sure.
We'll count it.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I mean, that's different. I haven't heard it before, but it didn't work at USC, I suppose. For Clay Helton,
it certainly didn't work at USC. That's for sure.
It was weird though. The Clay Helton era to me lasted a little bit longer at USC than I thought it was. He was always on the hot seat, and it was always like, yeah, why don't you just dump him? He's Clay Helton.
And then they did after what, week 2? Or was it week 3?
Yeah, they just gave up on him after week 2, I think.
At that point, why? Well, what are you doing?
That's what
did you keep him around for?
That's what I think. But at the same time, I mean, if Scott Frost has 2 bad weeks, I know that the contract situation is there. That it'd probably be better for the buyout to wait till October or whatever. But if Scott Frost lost to Northwestern and barely won in week 1 against North Dakota, you might let him go.
Well, I think if you lose both those games, you let him go.
Yeah.
But I also don't see a scenario where you lose either of those.
Well, I don't, but I mean, that's what I'm saying for Clay Helton. And for what it's worth, they were 1-1 last year when they let him go.
Really? What was the loss?
Let's see. They beat San Jose State 30-7.
Fair enough.
And they lost 28-42 to Stanford, and they just had it. That was enough.
That was enough when you lose to Stanford?
That's strange.
Stanford wasn't terrible last year, were they? They were bolting.
They were pretty bad last year, I think. I'll double check. It's actually weird. Now, Stanford hasn't been good for a long time, and I wonder.
Since Andrew Luck.
Well, a little bit after that. They had Bryce Love there for a minute, but they were
Bryce Love, nice.
Yeah, they were 3-9 last year. I wonder if David Shaw, and I've thought about this too, if that's another guy that if this Scott Frost experiment doesn't go well, I think David Shaw, he basically runs a Big Ten offense at Stanford where you got to get a lot of different, it's tough to get guys into school.
You'd hire David Shaw?
I would hire David Shaw, yeah.
That's your grand solution.
Other than Brett Bielema. I mean, I don't know.
Brett Bielema? Yeah. That's your solution
Those are my
to this.
Solutions.
You know what my solution?
Don't go away from the.
You know what my?
Don't go away from the blueprint.
I got 2 solutions. You know what number 1 is?
What's that?
Urban Meyer.
Well, that's actually that's actually
see.
Number 1, yeah.
You know what my number 2 solution is?
Kicker, but that's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah,
win football games. You know what my number 2 is?
What's that?
Go Joe.
Oh, that's not a solution.
Go Huskers.
No. I like. I mean,
come on, give it a shot.
It'd be fun for a while for the from the podium, but I don't still.
It would be fun when you win a national championship. Is what would be fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I would definitely go with Urban Meyer first. I guess I was going within the realm of possibilities here. I don't think they're
you don't think Urban Meyer's? I'm not lying.
Maybe
if Scott Frost doesn't make it through next season, or I guess through this season into next season, I bet you Urban Meyer's at the top of their list. I'm serious because he's going to get back in college football. We've heard this before. Oh, I'm done. Didn't work out in the NFL. He's just not an NFL coach. He never has been. He never will be. But Nebraska's job is open. It's a top-tier program. They've got some history. They're on the downward trend. They need a savior to bring it back up.
You don't have to talk me into it. Urban Meyer's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
And you know what? If they get rid of Hoiberg, get Rick Pitino. We're all in. Push it all in.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think as with anything, a little bit of time away and maybe time in the broadcast booth, and Urban Meyer will be back in college football at some point and turn around some programs. So we'll see what happens there. But obviously, hopefully, Scott Frost and Mark Whipple and all these guys get it turned around this year, and you don't have to worry about that. We'll take a quick break here on 93.7 The Ticket. That'll wrap it up, in fact, for the Ticket Water Cooler. Nate is out on vacation, so thanks again,
Been
Nate.
a pleasure, brother.
Enjoy.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah, have some fun out there on vacation. On the Block will be coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors,